Hello, my friends, and welcome to another Let's Talk About It Tuesday. My name is Mara, and this is Mindfully Crocheted. Today, I plan to talk about my answers to the hashtag Random Rusty Q&A, and that Q&A was started by Rusty of Mama G Gear channel, and she also has her own channel. I will link both those channels below. I love watching them, and one day when they put out this hashtag, I decided to print out the questions and answer them. And I just kind of put it aside for a little bit because they did that a couple weeks back. And so today for the Let's Talk About It Tuesday, I thought I would sit here and answer some of the questions, or answer all of the questions. And so I'm going to just get right to it. All right, the first question on the Random Rusty Q&A says, besides yarn, is there anything else you collect? And yeah, over the years, I have, collected a few things. When I was younger, I collected bookmarks, and I was a big fan of Garfield, and so I had quite a few Garfield bookmarks, and then I had lots of other bookmarks as well. I'm sure I still have them somewhere, but unfortunately, none of them were quite handy. But I do like to read a lot, as well as I teach reading to kids, and so I like to have bookmarks to go in books. And there's nothing to me like having an actual book that you can open up and touch and feel and smell the pages. Another item that I started collecting a little bit more recently, over the last couple of years, are stickers from a coffee shop called Dutch Bros. Now I know that Dutch Bros is not everywhere nationally, but Dutch Bros is like a drive-up coffee place that was started in Oregon, and it's kind of trickled out to other places. And so typically once a month, and then also on special occasions, they put out a sticker. And when you go through the line to get your coffee or your frozen beverage treat, then you'll get a sticker. Like they used to do it on like the first of the month, and then they changed it to the first Wednesday of the month. And then oftentimes, because they moved it to the first Wednesday instead of being on the first, I would forget to go. So I haven't collected them every month, but I went through and I counted up my collection, and I have currently about 46 different Dutch Bros stickers. I'll show you a couple. They are kind of like a fun, hip little place to get coffee or other caffeinated beverages, and they have kids' drinks. Here is one that says Dutch Bros Kickback, and it says they were established in 1992. All right. And they also raise money, I believe, for ALS, and so that's I think that's their charity of choice. I'm not 100%, but I'll have to double check that. Here's another one. This was a September sticker. It actually came out around the time of my birthday. They had a fundraiser on my birthday. So it says, love the grind. Let me show you. This one came out, I think, this year. Or wait a minute. Nope, make that 2021. I think this might have been from a couple years ago. It says, get up. And here was a cute little one they did. Just going to show you a few more of these. Here's Dutch Bros with a bat on it. And here's one that was from Christmas time. So it's like a reindeer or moose or something, and he's wearing a winter hat, and it's got Christmas lights, and anyway, that's cute. Let me find another one. let's see. This says permission to dream. These, I mean, their stickers are really fun. My daughter and I love going and getting their, getting something to drink and getting their sticker. Right now, I've just been sticking them in a little Ziploc bag, and here's another one, and collecting them that way. But I do want to put them like in a book. Now I know like some people, when they get these Dutch Bros stickers, they stick them onto a hydro flask, or they will put them onto some kind of a water bottle or something. But I'm thinking what I'd like to do is be able to put them into like a sticker book where I can take them back out, and that it won't, or maybe I'll just stick them into some kind of like a photo album. I don't know. It's kind of hard to decide, but I want to be able to display them out. And I'm also going to insert a picture over here of just kind of like my collection laid out on a bed. There's some overlapping, but you can see some of the pictures there. All right. Another thing that I kind of collect, wow, I can't even get past number 1 yet. I've been kind of developing a little collection of fidget toys lately, and I'll show you a few. I like to play with the Rubik's Cube, and for me, just kind of spinning the Rubik's Cube is a fun little fidget. And I have a few different Rubik's Cubes. This one has like food pictures on it. I just recently got this at a garage sale, and the rest of my Rubik's Cubes are out of hand's reach, except for this cute little one. This is like the world's smallest working Rubik's Cube. It is 1 cubic centimeter. Isn't it cute? It fits right on my fingertip. It is actually smaller than like a standard keyboard. The flat surface of it is smaller than like a keyboard key. Super cute, and it does turn, as you can see. Anyway, it is hard for my, chubby little fingers to turn this one, so I try not to mess this one up and have to resolve it, but it is fun. It's cute. My little Rubik's Cube. Then I have a variety of other little fidgets, like fidget spinners. Since I tutor kids, okay, loud noise alert. So these are kind of like those little flexy things. They're hollow throughout. I have these in like 4 different colors: pink and purple and green and blue. And little squishy ball things. And let me just show you 1 or 2 more. Sorry about the crinkling. This one is like a mesh. It's sealed up, and then there's a marble inside it, and so you can kind of just push the marble, from side to side. You can do that with one hand, or use both hands and just kind of push the marble around inside. And anyway, I like fidget toys. When I'm doing tutoring, I will often take little fidget breaks with the kids that I tutor, and I'll have them like fidget for like a minute, and I won't let them do like anything except fidget. So they have to just play with the little fidgets, and I've got like these little magnetic rocks and just other little things, I think, to help kind of break up that. So all right, that is my what else do I collect beside yarn. And actually, my collection of yarn is not that big. It's, but I mean, I know, bigger than some, but smaller, a lot smaller than others. All right, so the next question is, what is your most prized possession? And I can't even believe here I am doing this video and I don't have really my most prized possessions with me. Now, my, what I want, like my initial thought to this question was, well, my family, like my family is my most prized possession. But you can't really possess people. So it's just sort of that spirit of family. And to me, that is, kind of represented in my wedding ring, my wedding set. And you'll see it on other videos today. It's like after I showered this morning, I didn't slip my ring back on. And I also have a crucifix that my mom gave me when I was a young adult, and I typically wear that every day too. Today I got right going and I didn't put that on yet, but those are like two of my most prized possessions. And I was asking my son Samuel this morning, like, what do you think is my most prized possession? And he couldn't think of it, but another thing that kind of came to mind, and it's something that I'm very rarely without, is the phone. And so the phone is kind of like our connection to, it's my connection to the news, my connection to friends and family. I use it for communication tool. I use it to get educated on things. I mean, I'd say it's like having this little mini computer in my hand, or with me all the time. It just seems to make the world a little bit of a smaller place. I hate to think of myself as having like my phone as my prized possession, but I have to say, when I leave it behind, I'm like, where's my phone? And so that doesn't happen very often. So sad, but true. Okay, number 3. It says, name a book or movie that's important to you. And the absolute first thing that comes to my mind when I think of, a book or movie that's important to me is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. And I am, I'm a pretty huge Jane Austen fan in terms of her books and the adapted movies for them. And so when I was in 7th grade, and one of my junior high school English teachers taught, she basically encouraged us to read novels, and one of the novels on her list were novels by Jane Austen, and as well as like Charlotte and Emily Bronte. And so the classics, novels that were written in the 1800s. And so Pride and Prejudice became my favorite book. And then in, I think it was like late 1996 or early 1997, the 6-part BBC miniseries of Pride and Prejudice came out, and then that became my favorite. And I will watch that 1 to 2 times per year. And so, gosh, think about that. That's like 26 years ago or so. And so I've seen it most likely about 50 times. So I can quote a lot of the movie, but anyway, and I've read the book at least a few times throughout the years as well. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend Jane Austen. Okay. Number 4, in how many languages can you say thank you? Ooh. Okay, so I didn't really look at every question really specifically, so let me think about it. Thank you. Merci beaucoup. That would be French, and gracias. I can't say it very well, but gracias. Gracias. So Spanish. Oh, and then Italian, I think, is grazie. And danke. I still have a German aunt, and dankeschön. Maybe Japanese. Arigato. Is that thank you? Okay. I think that's probably about it. Let me think. English, French, and German, and Spanish, and Italian, and Japanese. Okay, 6. I guess I can say it in 6 languages. And I think I can also say it in sign language. Thank you. So 7. Make that 7. Okay. Thank you. That's a good question. Okay, number 5. What's the most interesting place you have visited? The most interesting place I have visited. Okay, back in 1999, my husband and I went to Italy, and we went to Rome and Florence and Venice. And, there's a lot of beautiful and rich history in Italy, and being raised like Catholic, going to see Vatican City, that was a really great part of the trip, and going into a lot of the older churches like St. Mark's, as well as St. Peter's in Vatican City. Those were 2 pretty amazing churches. But in Rome itself, going to visit the Colosseum, I think that was probably one of the coolest places to go, because it was built back in like BC, essentially, and like 300 BC or something, wasn't it? I mean, it's been around for like over 2,000 years, or around 2,000. I don't know. I have to go back and look at when exactly the Colosseum was. Hey, let's see if Smarty Pants knows. Hold on, I'll be right back. Okay, so according to SIRI, the Colosseum was built in 80 AD. So it wasn't BC. But anyway, it's been around for pretty close to 2,000 years. And going in there and hearing all the stories and everything, about the games that would go on in there was probably, one of the most interesting places that I've ever visited. Okay, let's see. Number 6. Are you a morning bird or a night owl? Yes. Sometimes I get up very early and I'm super productive, and I can get a lot done in the mornings. And then I'll also stay up very late. So that means that I go around a lot of times during the day being very tired, because I like to keep myself busy. However, I can be a morning person sometimes, or a night owl. So it can go both ways. All right. Tell us about your animal family. Well, that one's kind of easy to do. It's very short, and I will put up a picture of her right over here, and that is our little Lhasa Sunny, and she is a little over 9 years old, and she is a super cutie pie. Anyway, we got her when she was barely 10 weeks old, I think, and she is just like another fur kid. She's a fur kid to add to my other 3 kids, and I do think of her like my little fur kidlet. Okay, and prior to Sunny, I had a poodle mix. She was kind of like a poodle mutt, and her name was Sugar, and she lived to be 18 and a half years old. So she had a very long doggy life, and I had her from, my mom got her when she was a little puppy, because she was the puppy, I think, of one of my brother and sister-in-law's dogs. And so Sugar came into my life. I brought her with me to Oregon when I got married and moved here from California. So anyway, yeah, Sugar was a very beloved pet, and we pretty much are kind of like a one pet family. My husband, as I've mentioned in other like lives and videos. He's allergic to cats, and my daughter's allergic to cats, and so we don't have a lot of other pets. When I grew up, we were like Noah's Ark. We had 2 cats, 2 dogs, 2 birds. We had chickens. We had like a rooster. We had lots of fish. We had hamsters. I had a couple of hamsters at a time. And I grew up with a lot of pets. So I do like having, at least one pet. And growing up also, the dogs that we had, they lived in our backyard. They were not indoor pets. And so Sunny is an indoor dog, and that's nice. Great little lap dog. Okay. Number 8. What show or movie do you love to rewatch? Now, I already mentioned Pride and Prejudice, and like I said, I'll watch that 1 or 2 times per year. I also like watching the Harry Potter movies. I've watched them, quite frequently. I've seen them. Really big Harry Potter fans here. And so I enjoy watching the Harry Potter movies. I read all of those books and really like those. And Sliding Doors, that is with Gwyneth Paltrow. That's a really cool movie. I like watching it. Gwyneth Paltrow they take you down 2 different possible paths that her life could have been just by either making it on to the train in London or missing her train. And so they show you what happens to her when she misses the train and what happens to her when she gets on the train. And it kind of goes back and forth throughout the movie. I love that movie. If you also like Sliding Doors, leave that in the comments below, or tell me that, or, better yet, make one of these random rusty Q&A videos yourself. I'd love to come and watch it. Tag me if you do so that I can go and watch your video. Okay, as well as, Notting Hill is another movie that I also have rewatched. I've seen that one at least 10, 15 times. I love it. It is with Julia Roberts and, oh gosh, now his name's drawing a blank. I'm drawing a blank on his name. It'll come to me. Oh, dang. That's bad. I'm going to pause. I'm going to think about it. Julia Roberts and very famous actor. When I'm editing, I'll put his name in. Or if it comes to me later, then I'll say it later. Okay. I like Notting Hill too. It's just a cute, feel-good movie. I like it. How do you recharge is the next question. Number 9. How do you recharge? I think I recharge in a few different ways. 1, coffee. 2, sleep. 3, the other way I like to recharge is actually by taking a long walk, looking around at nature, listening to music, and just processing all the thoughts that might be going through my head. It's sort of a meditative practice, if you will, just getting out into nature, taking a walk and breathing in the fresh air. That's, to me, one of the best ways to recharge. Okay, number 10. What is your favorite way to travel? Car, 100%. Car is my favorite way to travel. I am not a big flyer, not a big fan of planes, is what I was trying to say. It's been ever since my twins were born, or when I was pregnant with my twins. That was back in 2001, and so maybe you can think about obvious reasons why I became not so big of a fan of flying in 2001. But I just remember, I did not used to be afraid of flying. I used to be, fly almost once a month or every other month for a while there, when my husband and I, before we were married, we were in a long distance relationship. And so he would either come down to California and see me, or I would fly up to Oregon to see him. And so I used to fly all the time and didn't mind it. But then one time when I had just found out that I was pregnant, we took a flight in a small aircraft. We had a foreign exchange student who was with us from Italy, and he was getting ready to go back to Italy. Mark knew a pilot, and that pilot friend of his took us out. So this took the three of us. So there were four of us in a 4-seater plane, and we flew and we went around the Mount St. Helens, and then we came back. And as we were flying back over Portland, it was windy, and we were fishtailing a little bit, and just that feeling made me so uncomfortable. So anyway, ever since then I just don't do as well as I used to with heights and planes. So long story short, I like to travel by car. And I like to be the passenger so that I can enjoy the scenery as I do. Let's see, number 11. Do or did you have any nicknames? A couple. I never was really known for long-term by nicknames. One of my mom's pet names for me, she used to call me Pumpkin Eyes, and my dad used to call me Morning Glory. And I like that. That makes me feel really special. And in college, I was a bee one year for Halloween, and somebody called me Buzzbee, but that wasn't a real nickname that stuck. But for a little while, for the rest of that school year, I think when I saw some people, they would call me Buzzbee. Silly, but I'll take Pumpkin Eyes and Morning Glory. Okay. Let's see. Are you an introvert or an extrovert? I would say I am a metavert. I'm just kidding. I'm somewhere in the middle. I am shy. When I am meeting new people, I am kind of shy. Or if people are in a conversation, I have a hard time going into a conversation where people are already talking. Sometimes when I'm out and about, either at work or other places, I kind of feel uncomfortable and shy. And then there are other times when I'm comfortable, or especially if it's other people that I know, I can be very gregarious and outgoing and extroverted. So I would say I'm kind of somewhere in the middle. Okay. What was your first official job? My first official job was a paper girl. I got to deliver the newspaper. I did that for probably 2 years, 5th and 6th grade maybe, or something like that. And I got paid to do it, and I also made tips, so that was nice. And it was back in the day when we used to have to collect for the newspaper. So you would leave little invoices and envelopes, and then when you delivered the paper, people would leave their payment. You went door to door and you picked it up, and then you gave them their little payment stub. That's how we took care of the paper way back in the day. And so then they would also give me tips. Then sometimes at the holidays, they would leave me little envelopes of money. I was a pretty good paper girl, actually. I used to have 100 newspapers, 50 in the front pouch of the newspaper, canvas newspaper holder thing, and then 50 on the back. And I would deliver some newspapers on my bike, and then when the front area started pulling down in the back, I would turn it around and balance it out and throw some of the newspapers out. But yeah, I went around my neighborhood and delivered the newspaper, and we would get the bundles delivered on our front step, and I would have to put the inserts in, fold it up, put the rubber bands on it, or stick it into the little plastic bags if it was raining. Anyway, it was fun, but I've had a whole lot of jobs since then. But I would call that my first official job, and I was only 10 or 11 years old, so I consider myself to have a pretty strong work ethic, and in the amount of time in my whole life since I was 10 or 11, there hasn't really been much time that I have been without some kind of a job. I am always doing something, babysitting, or even now like tutoring and working part-time. I always have a lot of little irons in the fire. My dad was a really hard worker. My mom too. My mom did a lot of things too. But my dad, sometimes he would work 7 days a week as a journeyman machinist. And several of us kids, out of the 6 of us, we had pretty strong work ethic, just like our dad. Okay, let's see. Number 14. If money was no object, how would you spend your day? I probably would get a pedicure or and a manicure, do things to pamper myself. I would probably just still do something simple. I mean, we all like to travel, but I'm not like a jet setter. I would probably just want to like do all the fun things, like go shopping with friends, or like treat somebody, go out to eat, just maybe see a movie, just try. I mean, like, I just like doing a lot of little simple things, and if I didn't have to worry about it, then I could do a lot of those in a day. I would have to buy a lot of yarn, right? I would go on to the Knits All Done or Yarn Snob Yarns, and I would order a bunch of power balls, and then I'd give them out to all my friends. Okay, let's see. I'm going to try to get this wrapped up real quick here. Let's see. Number 15. If you became the ruler of your country, what's the first law that you would pass? You know what? I would just make the golden rule an official law. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Treat others the way you want to be treated. I think, it's like spread kindness. It would be those types of things. Make the world a better place. Volunteer. I would say those kinds of rules, treat other people the way you want to be treated. That is one of the keys to happiness. All right. I think we are getting close to the last question. Name something that you are proud of. And what I would have to say there, and is certainly a great way to finish up the video, is that my family really is my most prized, and like where I have the most pride is in my husband and my 3 kids. They are the light of my life, and as well as my extended family that are my friends who are like family. That's what I'm most proud of. The people that I surround myself that are in my life, both blood and as well as those that could be like blood to me. Those people, that's what I'm most proud of, is that. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Rusty, as well as Mama G, for putting this, random Rusty Q&A out there. It really does give me something to think about as well as to talk about. Pablo thinks the same thing. Thanks so much for listening to me share things about myself. I will look forward to talking with you again soon. Everybody take care and be kind.